Welcome back to my channel, and in this episode today I want to give you Etsy's words on things that I talk about all the time on my channel, that I tell you to do, and some people question me and say, Nick, why are you telling us to do this? So Etsy recently did something called Etsy Up on YouTube, and I've taken 3 sections of their Etsy Up presentation: vacation mode, conversions, and number of listings. So these are 3 things that I talk about all the time: impact of vacation mode, how important is conversion, and also I talk about the number of listings and defining your store. So defining your niche, what your store is all about. So first of all, let's get straight into vacation mode. This is what Andrew Stanton, our head of Etsy SEO, has to say about vacation mode.
Right, and Andrew, how does putting your shop on vacation mode impact your search ranking on Etsy?
It's a very similar answer.
Okay.
When you go on vacation mode, your listings are removed from search while you're gone. And unfortunately, that means you can't make those conversions, which helps signal to the ranker that your listings in your shop are relevant for this query. For shorter stints, it's not going to have a huge impact, but for longer stints, it can have a big impact. So much like Ratish said, be thoughtful about the time you're taking, and when you're back, be back.
So there we go. As Andrew Stanton says, vacation mode is not a great idea. Let me give you a lot more color, a lot more depth on this. So vacation mode is a lot more brutal than he's making out, okay? For new stores and growing stores, it can be cataclysmically bad. It can destroy your store going on vacation mode in the early days, definitely in the first year of owning your Etsy store. You need to be very, very careful. And also, when you have been on vacation mode, it's directly linked. The damage is directly linked to how successful your store is. So if you've got a store with thousands of sales, yeah, you can go on vacation mode and you can get away with it. Certainly for a few days. I wouldn't do it for a couple of weeks, but you're more than likely to be okay because you've built up historical quality score, historical visibility. Your store can carry you for being away and offline for a few days. If you're a new store, it can be so damaging, and I'd advise you guys not to use vacation mode, and if you absolutely have to, just do it for the smallest amount of time possible. Far better to extend your processing times in every situation you can. Okay, so that's the first bit that Etsy talked about, vacation mode. Let's now look at the number of listings in your store. So again, this is what Etsy's got to say on the number of listings in your store. Let's hear it.
Yeah, I agree with Ratish on this one as well. More inventory is more opportunities to sell to a buyer. One of the things you have to remember is that buyers are oftentimes looking for variations of something they might be attracted to. So having more inventory can help provide additional variations for that buyer to look at. One hot tip that it might be really helpful for sellers to know is that the search engine really likes shops which have a defined niche, some type of stylistic element or some type of theme that really combines it together. And so when new listings are added for that shop, well, the search engine already knows this shop is good for those types of listings and will give it an additional benefit in the search rankings.
So again, as I've been saying for the last 8 years, the number of listings you have in your store is so important for building and growing, getting more traffic and getting more sales. And did you hear the bit that he said there about defining your niche? That is the first time I've heard a member of staff from Etsy talk about defining niche on video. This is critical. Again, I've been talking about this for years. If you define your niche in your store, you are literally sending an imprint or identity to Etsy that is strong. So if it's strong, Etsy knows to come looking in your store when it needs to find something related to the niche of the customer search query. Stores that are general stores, I've talked to you about this before, general gift stores, stores with lots of different niches in them, different products, lots of different ideas. Etsy doesn't like it. Etsy doesn't know what your store definition is all about. This is why I go on and on to you guys about defining your store, defining your niche. It's so straightforward. Etsy knows what it's looking at. So all you guys with general gift stores, if you're doing well and you opened at the right time, i.e. COVID, and you're making lots of sales, great. For most sellers, it's just not going to work, and you need to define your niche in your store. So the last piece of information that Etsy talk about, and I've been banging on about it for years, is conversion rate. Lots of people say, on YouTube and in the Etsy forums, oh, no, it's not that important. Conversion rate is critical. Let's hear what Andrew's got to say about conversion rate.
Got it. Okay, that makes sense. Andrew, conversion rate on Etsy search, how does that play out?
It is so important. You've got to remember what the point of Etsy search is. It's to match a buyer with that perfect item in our huge inventory. And one of the best signals we can get from a buyer is whether or not they're willing to buy it. If they're willing to open up their pocketbook and pull out a credit card and actually purchase that item, that means to us that this item is likely very satisfying for that buyer. But it's more than just that, right? It not only does that train our search algorithms, but also can earn a lot of those coveted badges, which also really help influence buyers, such as the bestseller badge, popular now, and of course that coveted star seller. And of course, the more purchases you get, the more reviews you get, the higher the star rating you get, and that of course also really helps buyers determine when they're comparison shopping which product they're likely going to go with.
So, conversion rate, it's really important. Of course it's important. Listings that convert, listings that give trust to Etsy. This is what it's about. It's trust. If you sell, if your items convert, that's trustworthy. That means when Etsy shows your listings to customers, they're going to make more sales than another listing that doesn't convert very well. It makes so much sense. So your goal here with your Etsy stores, after listening to all these instructions and advice, is keep your store running, keep your store growing, keep it developing. Pay close attention to what is working in your store. So when I consult with clients and work with them, so many stores I see the store might have 50 items in it and 3 or 4 of them are selling quite well. And I say to the client, are you going to make more of these? Are you going to work with this area in your store that's doing well? And they say, oh, that's a good idea. Of course it's a good idea. You have to focus in on what's working, which is why when I tell you guys to get to 100 listings, this is one of the reasons why. It proves viability. It will show you 5, 10, 15, 20 listings in your store that are developing, selling, getting views. That's your market. You push into those listings to start creating more listings that are going to be successful and less listings that are not going to be successful. Trust me, Etsy is watching every single one of these listings in your store. It has a quality score rating for every single listing in your store. It has a shop quality score rating for your store. It uses these ratings to decide whether it's going to show you to a customer search query or it's going to show somebody else to your search query. So it's absolutely vital that in your store, you're paying attention to what's working and you're trimming out and removing the listings that don't work, that aren't selling. Listings that don't sell, they're a really bad idea for your store. We want the store to be focusing on what's working. Right, as usual, get into my comments. Let me know what you thought of this video. Did you watch Etsy Up? Did you watch it? What did you think of what they had to say? Not just the bit that I showed you, the SEO portion, but everything else in the Etsy Up presentation. What did you think of that? Get into my comments. Any questions, get them into the comments. You know I reply to them all. It takes me a while sometimes because there's very few people commenting to the comments, replying to the comments, but I'll get to as many of them as I can. Lastly, my workshop registration is still open. The 10th of June is completely sold out. It's gone. 17th of June has 5 spots left as I speak, and 24th of June has 9 spots left. The registration link is in the description. Hurry up if you're going to do this. It is going to sell out, and I want to work with you guys. There's 15 spots left. I look forward to hearing from you and speaking to you soon. See ya.